Hello, Rock. All right, so this is the IBM Selectric. Is this zoomed or trying to zoom it out to make sure it's good? So I'm going to show you the ins and outs of this thing. It's kind of wild. You asked about engineering aspects and everything, and I'll tell you. I managed to get the whole thing typing really good. It's really wild. You have to really kind of coerce this thing into existence. It's really, sorry. Okay, so if you look, there's a lever over here. If you don't have that lever down, okay, so it's back, it can actually feed the paper through. If you pull it back, you can just kind of slip out the paper. There are a whole bunch, look, there's all these buttons, and I honestly do not know all the stuff here. But I do know that this is the first platen, and then there's this, the measurement thing. You saw me earlier talking about the margins here. I got the right margin working, by the way. Interesting enough, if you get it correctly working, you can hear a little ding if it gets too far over, and that's really kind of cool and a neat feature. So you can and it has a hard stop, and you hear a ding, you hit the enter key, so the carriage sweeps over. The carriage, you hear ding, you're like, okay, finish your word or whatever, and then ding, bonk, and then sweep it over. Really cool. But I wanted to show you the deep dark of this thing. So I need to turn this thing on and move. So this is the tape head. This is like the pattern in which all the letters hit onto the paper. You know, the ball hits on there. So I need to turn it on, and we'll get into the motor situation shortly. And I can hit the tab key. And the interesting thing is, watch. See? And then you hit enter, puts it back. So, and the tab has a bunch of places you can go to. The reason I'm trying to do this is I want to get this thing out of my way, okay? Turn this thing back off. There are arms inside of here. And if you just listen, you can hear it. That's one. That's two. Okay. So the next thing is that if you look right here, there's a little lever dealing my job. I just kind of got it depressed, but you see I can like make it up and down. I got to get this thing out. It's called the basal platen. So give me a second here, okay? I'll be right back. All right, so basal platen's out. It's the big bar thing. That's the thing the paper rolls on, and there should be a little bit of text on here from the last 50 or so years. This thing is from 1971, by the way. Now, I took out the basal platen, so it's not in the way here, right? You see that? Now, I took off the main stuff here. I'm going to turn this thing back on and backspace it because I want to make this thing get out of my way. These little tabs, these are the margins. You flip them back. I'm going to turn the thing back off. And so I snapped off the retaining bits on the main cover. So I'm going to take off the main cover here. Okay, you can see it, but let me put down the phone again. All right. So now you're looking at the start of the internals of an IBM Selectric. Now, it can go way more interesting so you're starting to see the deep dark here, right here. See this? This is the wiffle tree that you saw in that video. And it is much more dangerously surprising when you flip the sucker over. So there's another component I'm going to take off right here real quick. This helps the paper feed. It's part of the basal platen. And I'm going to leave the golf ball and the print header thing, but there's a little lever over here that allows you to dislodge the main mechanism under here. Okay, So now you can pull it back. I know you can't see very well, and you can pick it up. Oh, this thing's heavy. Trust me, this thing is super duper heavy. I need to move. Here, hold on. This weighs about 20 pounds, this component that I just pulled up. And this is the Whiffletree. There's springs here. Can you see that? Springs, every single one. Every single one. Spring. There are at least 1, 5, 10. So about 43 springs, give or take. And every single one of them is connected. Look at the whole. Every single key manipulates. Every single one. So I'm going to press a key. And you might not be able to see this. I can kind of hear, but the key travel isn't so much, but it's enough to manipulate that ribbon. It's a metallic ribbon, by the way. He doesn't tell you this. It's a metal ribbon. Now, you asked about the motor. So I'm going to turn on, hopefully, the light on this thing, because you'll need a little more light here, because the motor is kind of hard to see without. Oh, you know what? I've got a flashlight somewhere. Where? Okay, there we go. Bang. Okay, good. All right, and okay. So the part that you need to focus on is right here. So there's a main motor that runs. You'll see that in a very short moment, and then it's connected to this spring and connector. This goes through a 90-degree turnover through a giant axle going all the way through. There is a big, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but there is a little tiny spring right here where my finger is. It's very hard to pick out. And yeah, right here. So how do I get it? So yeah, this thing right here. That is the main clutch spring, and it is the Gigantosaurus Rex problem of this machine. Yes, and this is steel. All of it's steel. All the components are steel. These are all case hardened and everything. It's Crazysaurus. And this thing, like, none of this is rust. This is just greased on oil. It's starting to dilapidate because I'm actually putting new oil on here. But I'm going to turn on the motor. So there's if you look at the keys, you'll see an on, off. And I just accidentally turned it on. You see that right here? On, off. All right, so I'm going to show you what happens when you use the motor. You see how it's like the motor is moving the main thing and everything's going. Now, if you hit a key, you see how it's moving around. You see how it's the component here, right here. That's the main drive line of the motor, okay? And it moves around. And this is the big shift mechanism. So if I can find the shift key offhand, it's on the left-hand side. They only have one shift. Oh, that's the caps lock. Pretty cool, right? And so this little spring is the big deal. So long as that little spring right there is working good, everything's great. Unfortunately, I broke one of my keys. I just felt it. You see how it's sticking out there? So I'm going to fix that toot sweet. I need to... Yep, I can see that. Just want to... Yeah, this is one of those things where those springs at the top I showed you, if they're not correct, the whole thing can mess up, and then you need to kind of seat them. Okay, so now I'm going to show you right quick. So this is what I was talking about right here. So you see, like these guys. So the one that was over here, I'm literally manhandling a key. You hear that? I think that's Z or A. And you see how there's a spring here? If you move it off the key. So I'm going to try and move it off the key. Okay. You see how there's a silver lever arm with the... See how it's disconnected? That key will not function. And you'll have to fix it. So, but it naturally fixes itself. Do you see that? How even though I manually manhandled it to not work, it fixed itself. Which is like the most insane thing ever. And that's how this whole ding-dong thing works. It's like this super engineered, hyper crazy machine. And I mean, I'm just randomly pressing keys, but you hear that? That's how fast. And then I can press the enter key. Oh no, that's not the enter. Well, no, the enter key is over here, right? No, it's over there. Anyway, it's harder to play on that, but you can see how there's a bunch of grease, goobly gawk. That's because I just recently re-lubed it, and this thing is, it's older than me. It's from 1971, so it's 10 years older, 11 years older than I am. So it's 54 now. And just look at these like high configuration screws and this whole wiffle tree apparatus. You see this? It is wild, man. And also this under motor and the primary motor. Also, by the way, this primary motor is maybe the most valuable thing, because you cannot get these anymore. All right, I'm going to turn this off and save this and upload it for you, bro.